Hi guys.
It's Robbie.
And Andrea.
And this is Grab Your Pitchforks.
Boom. Episode 2. Down the drain.
So, this is your second episode you've heard, but this is the third time we've recorded.
Yeah, this is episode 3 or 2,
2.5.
2.5.
Lion
King 1.5. Timon and Pumbaa
I was
story.
trying to edit the last one that we recorded, which was it's the same stories we're about to talk about from last week, but I was super close to the microphone.
We don't know what we're doing.
Robbie
really.
was not.
Yeah, we don't really know what we're doing.
We're learning.
We're figuring it out. You're joining us on that journey, and we're being transparent and letting you, so just
and we're
be happy
learning
with
and
that.
growing, and you get to witness it. It's
You're
beautiful.
learning how to do a podcast yourself, so you can just do your own podcast, and then maybe people won't listen to it. You're not listening to it right now.
Oh, gosh. So, yeah. We, first of all, want to thank a few of our friends for helping us with the first episode so much. Matt Harmon.
Maddie.
Helped edit the first ep and kind of showed me some things.
Yeah, it was rough before he put his fingertips on it.
He put some magic on that.
Yeah.
And the badass intro and outro song was a collaboration from our friends Logan and Nuanwe. And they are amazing. If you haven't listened to them, check them out. And then our friend Jocelyn made the art.
Artwork. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got friends.
We have homies.
Probably the only people listening.
Love you guys.
Because they're like, oh, I did this thing for a podcast. I guess I'll listen to it.
My name's on there.
Yeah. 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 Now you're included. Yeah.
But so last episode. So before we talked about what we did on Halloween, but now it's 2 weeks. It's too late now.
It's too late.
So time has passed. So
when was Halloween even?
I don't even know. But I kind of wanted to talk about something fun. So I am in the middle of a yoga teacher training, and I had training last weekend, and I was there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the yoga studio.
Hot yoga.
Hot yoga.
Hot.
Not
because of the temperature.
No, yes. Oh. No, right.
Not because of the kind of, Let's just, let's clarify. Not everyone knows what hot yoga is. Maybe they think it's stripper yoga, where you
Who would think that?
I don't know, people who aren't familiar with
people from Arkansas or something?
I think they do yoga in Arkansas, I think.
But hot yoga?
Maybe not hot yoga.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know if it's reached the far stretches of Arkansas. Anyway, so hot yoga teacher.
So we do all of these workshops, and we had this lady come down from Portland who does these voice teachings, and she had us in this tiny little room. There's 20 of us trainees in this room, and she had us do all kinds of weird stuff to open up our vocal cords.
Sounds weird. Was she kind of weird?
She was fun. She wasn't weird. She was
fun.
Cool.
What was her name?
Kate.
Oh, just Kate? That's nice.
Yeah, she was chill.
Nice. Seems nice.
And so one of the things that we had to do was imagine that we were a bear scratching our back on a tree. And we had to get down really low, and we had to make the sounds that a bear scratching his back on a tree would make. So I, for one, want to know what Robbie's bear would sound like.
Well, I was just going to say, that's just me scratching my back, normal style. That's just I'd kill at that class. Everyone would be really impressed because that's just how I scratch my back.
That's one spectrum of it, though. The other spectrum was up on our tiptoes, trying to be a little pixie.
The funny thing is that a little pixie, like that's the opposite of a bear, yeah.
Yeah.
But like I don't think bears even like, they probably grunt.
That's what it was like guttural.
Just grunting.
Yeah.
But they probably don't make even that much noise, honestly, when they do it. But
They probably do actually.
You think so?
I think so. I think that they like let it out. You know.
I don't know. Maybe it's possible, but I don't think animals like are like going around that often, just like being all loud and shit out in the woods. You know, unless it's mating season, then it's time. Then it's time.
Then you want to be loud.
But when it's, when you're a bear and you're the top predator and you're just like, I'm just fucking scratching my back because I'm the king and...
Winnie the Pooh, man.
Winnie the Pooh. That's what I kind of think is kind of like poo noises when it's like...
But it's like lower than that. Hey, that was good. That was good. That's what I wanted to hear.
That
Nice.
was more my... I was just being a bluesman there. That's just that's a bluesman scratching his back.
What's a bluesman?
A guy who sings the blues.
Oh my god.
You never heard fucking Louis Armstrong?
Yeah.
Or like Tom Waits?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, their voices sound like shit,
I didn't know they were called
they're actually
bluesmen.
pretty cool. I know, it's like the only style of music I feel like you can play and you're like defined it. That's your title now. You're a bluesman. There's no like.
I like it.
I'm a rocksman or like.
No.
I'm a metalsmith or something. I don't know.
Metalsmith.
That's what I guess you would call it, because you can just call it metalman.
Metalman. Yeah, I don't think you would add the
bluesman.
S.
I guess there's
Blues
just like
kind of
some
already
sort of
has
like
the S.
there's like there's a refined history to the blues. Anyways, so that's pretty cool. What was your bear noise like?
Mine was like,
That's like Yogi.
yeah.
Like,
you have to like open your mouth really loud.
it's like
too.
Yogi Bear.
Yeah.
But he's like ejaculating into someone's like fucking picnic basket into the sandwiches.
Oh.
Hey, boo boo.
God. Maybe, maybe that's what I'm channeling.
You gotta be careful when you're picnicking in the woods.
A picnic.
A picnic basket. Who goes into this? I guess it's like a state park. So I guess people do picnic there. Would picnic
definitely.
there pretty often.
I've picnicked in parks
state
before.
Parks.
Oh yeah.
You don't gotta worry about no bears though.
Not during the day, but if you're camping, you gotta hide your food. You gotta hike it up a tree.
It's true. It's true. You better.
Okay.
Yeah, camping
Let's
advice.
get in this.
Camping advice.
Ouch! That kind of hurt a little bit.
You're wearing a ring and you punch your own hand.
Yeah.
It's the enthusiasm. Okay, so for this sode, we chose to do Oregon murders or Oregon.
Represent.
How do Oregon.
Oregon.
Yeah, we decided to represent the state in which we reside, which, I feel like we've already...
Pretty messed up here.
Yeah, we've already mentioned that a few times.
Yeah.
So I guess that's just going to be our, yeah, we're from Oregon and that matters a lot.
We love Oregon.
I'm alright with Oregon.
I love it.
It's pretty nice. But,
I like it.
So, for how nice it is, a lot of murders. A lot of crazy fucking murders.
There's a history here.
There's a history. A lot of crazy shit. So we're going to talk to it. And
let's talk to it.
Andrea's going to start with her murder.
Couple things first.
2.
Last episode, Robbie asked me what the serial killer... Oh my gosh, what's his name?
Beinwald.
Richard Beinwald, thank you. He asked me if Rich had a serial killer name.
Rich the bitch Beinwald. Yeah,
and I said...
the chill killer.
Which is wrong.
Yeah, it was not the chill killer.
It's wrong. It is
no
actually...
one's ever been called the chill killer, except for maybe Sub-Zero from Batman. And he called himself that because he loves puns, or at least Arnold Schwarzenegger did when he played him. Anyways, what was he actually called? Freeze well!
He was called the Thrill Killer.
Thrill Killer.
So I was
that
close.
That also sounds kind of just like, oh, thrills. Cheap thrills.
He's an adventurist.
Yeah.
No,
he killed people by skydiving with them and not giving them.
He'd cut their chutes. No.
Yeah.
Oops.
Dude,
I keep making that sound.
Speaking of Schwarzenegger in that Batman movie, that shit was off the chain nuts. If you know any like
Cool out.
Cool out, yeah. Like he had to like put a like LED battery, LED light with a battery inside of it in his mouth, and the battery like leaked battery acid into his mouth and shit.
What?
And he had to wear all this like crazy body paint, and it like suffocated. There's a lot of crazy shit. Look it up. A lot of crazy shit with that production.
I love me some Arnold.
It's like Batman and Robin. Back Beyond. Batman Beyond Robin. I can't remember.
Okay.
It's one of them. But so
number 2 on my list of things to say before I say more things.
Another disclaimer.
I kind of get slightly graphic with some of the details in this case, and just wanted to kind of let you guys know. Also, Robbie's case, it's also kind of hard to swallow as well. So
yeah, we're gonna be talking about some effed up S up in here.
Yeah.
Like,
and I know some of you guys are, pure of heart and
Christians.
Don't really care
Jesus
for murder.
First.
So.
Well, you shouldn't be listening if that's the case.
But they support us.
Yeah, that's nice to support us.
We want the views.
Just share it with your heathen friends, and then don't listen yourself because, it's gonna be gruesome. And we are into this kind of stuff, so we're not gonna cry about it. We're gonna be pretty normal about it. But that doesn't mean that we aren't crying inside and we don't feel bad for the victims and stuff. But we are detached, unfortunately.
so much.
So that kind of helps with talking about stuff like this.
Just talk it out.
Just talk it out. So, without further ado, let's talk to it.
Okay, I'm gonna paint the scene for you guys.
Paint it.
On January 9th, 2019, Clackamas deputies stepped into a house just outside Portland in a rural town. I said it right that time.
Rural.
I have such a hard time with that word.
Rural. Good job. Real diction.
Deputy Hayden Sanders saw the body of a woman on the porch. Looking farther into the home, he saw blood splattered all over the walls and down the hallway. He then saw the body of a headless man in the hallway.
Holy shit.
Oof.
Earlier this year.
Yeah, this is January this year, you guys. This is exclusive, although not really. It's kind of already almost a year old. But it was super new to me, and I was surprised. Okay.
Headless man.
Headless. Oh, poor guy. He heard the deputy hears a pounding sound, and he thinks to himself, oh, well, there's obviously someone still here, and it very well could be the killer. And once that thought kind of ran through his head, he then heard the sound of a little girl, and she was in distress. So him, and I believe he had
I'm in distress.
Help. Well, she might have been saying that.
What is this? It's just, stop it. Stop. So a little girl in distress. I don't know. Okay, so here's this little girl who's no.
Maybe.
Knock it off, you.
That's very, that could happen.
Okay, all right.
All right, so I think with this main deputy, there's probably, I think around 5 others. So there's a group of them. And they all realize that they need to go and, see what's going on and help this girl.
So there's 5 deputies the whole time?
Yeah.
Okay, they all show up. They all show up together?
Because they had received a call earlier.
Okay, for some reason I thought it was just one lone Joe out there just on the beat. Just what's going on in here? I hear a little girl crying.
Just the hero of the... I mean, he is a hero, but, just not the lone hero.
Uh-huh.
Multiple heroes.
I need a hero.
Yeah, it's a good song. Okay, so they walk into the house and they go into the back bedroom. There they saw 42-year-old Mark Gago holding a girl in the hostage hold. So, like, she was in front of him and he had his, like, the crook of his arm around her neck. And,
the hostage hold is also just a choke hold unless someone has a gun.
Yeah. He didn't have a gun, but,
Oh.
He had an axe next to him.
Whoa. Was it fucking goddamn Kratos from God of War or something? I haven't played that recently.
Oh, that game looks really cool,
It's pretty fun. He's got an axe. Anyways.
Dope.
So he's got her in a chokehold. That's super fucking weird, by the way, to just, like, go into a fucking room and see a guy with his arm around a girl and her back is to him and he's just, like, kind of choking her out and she's just sitting there. Ugh.
Yeah. And as they, like, walk into this room and see that, he's yelling, "They lied to me. They lied to me." And they're like, whoa. And
the cops are like, "Shut the fuck up! Shut the fuck up! Get on the fucking ground! Get on the fucking ground, motherfucker! Ah! Ah!"
Very well could be.
And he's just like, "They lied to me."
So he's yelling, "They lied to me." And as he was saying this, he's tightening the grip around the girl's neck. And Deputy Hayden sees that he's obviously going to kill this girl if he keeps doing that because she can't breathe. So in that moment, he's about 6 feet away from him and he takes the shot and he shoots him dead. And there was an interview with him later that I saw that
Jesus Christ.
He said, like, "Oh, I saw him, I knew he was going to kill her, and then the next thing I know is I pulled the trigger and she's down at my feet and he's on the ground."
This guy watched way too much fucking Lethal Weapon, fucking Die Hard.
Pumped.
But it paid off because...
He saved her.
Yeah, he fucking just, like... I wonder if they train you to, like, be really good enough to take that shot or not to take it if you don't feel I wonder how they train you for that because, like...
I think that is, like, you gotta be comfortable.
Are you always supposed to take the shot, I wonder?
Not if you don't. Well, also, it probably helped that she was smaller than him.
Yeah. Ugh, crazy. Well, that's badass. He fucking...
Yeah.
He did, and he didn't end up, like, I don't know, missing him, and then, like, But, it takes a while to choke someone out, so he would have had, like... actually, it takes a while to kill somebody by choking them, I should say.
We'll get to that.
Oh, shit.
So... Oh, and, like, I also read that the little girl called that deputy her guardian angel.
Guardian angel.
It's pretty cute.
Aww.
Okay, so let's get into it, shall we? So he's shot dead.
Okay.
Let's
starts off with the killer dying.
And now I'm gonna talk about him a little bit.
Okay. Gago.
Mark Gago. So he ended up killing 4 people in that house that day. He killed his parents, his girlfriend, and their 9-month-old daughter.
Jeez.
However, there were 2 other people that he had attacked in the house, but they survived. And one of them being the 8-year-old girl. She doesn't... I couldn't find a name. They kept her identity anonymous. So that's fine. Back in 2001 and 2005, he was charged with assault. Pretty brutal, I believe, in both cases. But for some reason, they were both dismissed. And he had also been skipping out on, like, 4 years of child support payments to his ex. And he was actually due in court, like, the March before. And he had a warrant out on him for that. So, great guy.
Yeah, wasn't he also, like, really into guns and knives and swords and, like, really nerdy stuff?
He wasn't
like
nerdy,
that?
but he loved weapons.
It's like a
militant. So when the cops were in the house, like, after all this carnage was happening, and, like, They were getting evidence. They couldn't help but notice all the weapons. He had axes and swords and guns and just every kind of weapon you can imagine, because apparently he had a major thing for them. And another thing with the house and the crime scene is pretty much every deputy on the case had to go through some really intense therapy after it because of how horrific the scene was.
Yeah. Brutal.
Brutal.
It was where in Oregon?
Just outside of Portland, like around Woodburn.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so, geez. Anywhere, I don't know why, yeah, anywhere that happens, like, no cop is gonna be, like, prepared for, like, a decapitation.
No.
That's crazy.
No. And, like, a 9-month-old baby.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, and he, like, he loved guns, but apparently decided not to use them.
Yeah.
Which would have been at least a little bit more, like, humane.
Still awful, but yeah.
At least, like, a little bit more
not
merciful.
An axe.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So he used an axe on everybody.
That I am not sure. I know he used an axe on most of them. So, Jerry William Bramer was 66 years old, and he was I think his stepdad, Mark's stepdad, and he was the one found in the hallway. He was beheaded, and he was near his overturned wheelchair.
Jeez.
Shayna Schweitzer.
God, so he just, like, couldn't get away, and he just, like, cut the dude's head. I wonder how... Ugh. You can't cut someone's head off with just, like, one swipe. It probably took him a few swipes to do it.
Who knows?
Few swings. Dude's just in a wheelchair, can't get away. That's so fucked.
Yeah, my brain, like, while I was researching this, I was, like, imagining it, and then I was like, please don't imagine this. It's terrifying.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I'm just giving you the facts here. I'm just reporting. Okay. Shayna Schweitzer. She was 31. She was the girlfriend of Mark. She was found resting near a bloodied shovel. And her 9-month-old daughter was lying close by her, and her name was Olivia Lynn Rose. And then Pamela Denise Bramer. She was 64. She was the mother of Mark, and she was found outside on the porch. So, like I was mentioning earlier, deputies told reporters of the grisly scene. There were weapons all over the house, and the victims were stabbed with a different array of weapons. They described the scene as complete carnage, like somebody had a blower with red paint and just coated the walls. And it looked like it was a scene on a movie. Just impossibly fake.
I bet. Like the fucking Shining or some shit.
Yeah.
Like
blood pouring out of the elevator.
Yeah, it's like bloodbath.
Well, like, there's a lot of blood in humans.
Yeah, well, especially when you open them up with axes and shovels. Yeah, like, Jesus Christ, that must have been terrible. And yeah, it's like, you see that shit on TV, or like, you know, you have like some sort of like, you know, idea, maybe. Most people do, I think, most adults. Especially cops who have like seen that kind of shit and like car accidents and stuff. They're even more used to it. But then you see something like that, and I bet like it's completely and utterly like unsettling to the point.
I can't imagine.
Like, yeah, just like it's got to change you a little bit when you're not even like prepared for it at all.
And these are people that like deal with horrible car accidents and stuff all the time, but still they said that this was the worst scene they've been to. Most of them.
Yeah, and they just like show up, see all this shit, and they know someone's up like in the house still. Yeah.
Nuts.
Cops fucking suck, but they're kind of cool sometimes, I guess.
When a good cop doing his job, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So Mark and Shayna had been planning on moving out of his parents' house earlier and into their own place just before this incident, I think just a couple weeks. And apparently, Shayna had texted her ex telling him that Mark had like strangled her a couple times. So she noticed that he was starting to get more
More violent.
Yeah,
Like
way more violent.
Increasingly more violent.
And so also I should mention this house. So everyone that lived in this house, it was the 4 victims, the parents, Mark's parents, it was Mark, it was his girlfriend, and then their 9-month-old daughter. But Shayna also had another daughter from the previous marriage, which was the 8-year-old girl. And then also living in the house was one of Mark's old friends from elementary school. Jeez. And her name was Tracy Burbank, and she's another one of the survivors.
Freaking packed house.
Very packed.
Man. And how old is he?
He was 34?
34? Damn, okay. So he's just like 34-year-old with his girlfriend and their kids living with the parents.
Oh, I'm sorry. He's 42.
42? Damn.
Yeah.
Mark. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Damn. That's crazy. That's gotta be dysfunction.
Oh, well, actually, I think that they were, like, the parents were pretty nice. They were nice people. Yeah. I believe that they even did, like, things for the homeless. Like,
oh, wow.
Yeah.
I guess just from the stance of, like, living with that many people in the same house.
Yeah.
Like,
it was a pretty big farmhouse.
Like, what is the friend from school doing there? On hard times, or maybe just cheap room, who knows?
Probably maybe both.
Yeah.
I don't really know. Okay, so Tracy Burbank, this is the woman that was renting a room in the house. Mm-hmm. So the day of the attack, she said she was sleeping. Ugh, gosh.
In the afternoon?
I can't imagine this.
She
might have been taking a nap, yeah.
Wow. Tracy needs to get her shit. I hope she got her shit together after
Maybe she
this.
works the night shift, dude.
Maybe.
Anyway,
probably sleeping one off.
She had been sleeping when Mark came into her room swinging an axe.
Swinging it around. Whoa!
Yep.
That's
Probably.
That'd be a fucking crazy thing. I think about waking up to that a lot, actually. Just like what I would do. Like, you
wouldn't be able to do anything.
If I don't know. I think if you had any time, well, that's why I think about it, because like you gotta have some sort of plan.
Have reflexes like a cat, dude. You sleep with a knife under your pillow, or what?
No, I usually have that stick.
It's by your door. It's not even.
Yeah, but I usually have it by my bed, and I also think I'll just piss and shit myself and then die before they can touch me. I'll just die. And then they'll have to deal with my stinky
survival tactic.
Foul body. Ha! Last thing you're gonna smell is my
Joke's
poop.
on you, murderer.
Yeah, can't kill me. I'm already dead, and it smells like poop in here. Idiot.
Gross.
Jerk. Fucking dumb bastard.
Alright, so Tracy says he comes into her room swinging an axe, and she honestly thought he was joking.
That sounds like Mark's humor, you know. Sometimes he just goes around the house swinging his various weapons.
I mean, he probably did play with them.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
You know he did. Yeah. So that might not have been so out of the blue for him.
Look at me, I'm Gimli from Lord of the Rings.
Gimli.
Okay. But I'm tall. Very tall Gimli.
So he attacks her, and he strikes her in her back. So
shit.
He brings the axe up again and is about to hit her again, and she raises her leg to block it, and he strikes her in her pelvis.
Fuck.
When she starts to get away, she jumps out of bed, and she starts running for the door, and he jumps on her back and starts to bite her.
What the fuck?
Then she cries for help, but doesn't hear anybody in the house. She somehow got him off, and she ran out. She said
he didn't like how she tasted.
No, he's like, gross.
Yeah, ugh.
So she ran out of the hallway, and she ran over a bunch of like broken glass, and she ran out the front door, and on the porch she saw Pamela's body.
Fuck. Yeah. Hell yeah, Tracy, get away. Escape, survive.
Tracy runs over to a neighbor's house, and the neighbor is like, whoa, like, you look like a bloody mess. What the heck's going on? I think she calls police at that point, although police had already been called. But she calls police, And an interview with the neighbor, he was saying, like, and the scariest part was not knowing if her attacker was going to come looking for her in my house.
Of course.
Which I would have the same exact thought.
Yeah, he's like right over there.
Yeah.
It's like pretty likely.
You better have a gun, dude.
Yeah, it's like it's something, you know. I'm not a huge supporter of guns or
Me
whatever.
neither.
But like, just on the basis of the fact that anyone with a gun could come into your house at any time,
strictly
is like
protection.
very real. You could have one just to have. You don't ever have to use it. It's like $300 just to have one. I kind of want to get one just to have it.
It's a lot.
A lot? That's not that much.
$300 for a gun?
That's not that much.
I don't know. I've never had a gun. I don't know.
Have you ever shot one?
Yeah, I've shot a couple guns.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
My sister taught me. Thanks, Jenna.
Nice. Yeah. She likes guns.
She likes guns.
So Mark also liked guns, and
he did.
Where are we? I totally forgot.
Tangents. Tracy gets to the neighbor.
She gets to the neighbor's house, and he's like, "Shit, this guy's gonna come looking for you over here, girl."
Yeah.
Fucking guy over there.
So apparently, someone from inside the house, like while this all started to happen, they had called the police at 10:15 that Saturday. So when the police finally got there were 4 dead bodies, and that's when they found the girl, the 8-year-old girl, and shot Mark.
What?
So he had killed them sometime. So things started getting heated up in the house, and someone, we don't know who called the police, but someone called, and by the time police got there, he had already killed them.
Shit.
Yeah.
So they were late, basically.
Yeah, I don't know how long it took for them to get there.
Oh, so there wasn't a great deal of time between when they were called and when they got there?
I have no idea.
Oh. I thought that's why, okay. I thought that's why you just said that. Because, like, someone called the cops, and then they showed up.
Mm-hmm. I'm just saying that
okay.
They had received a call for some sort of dispute. I don't think that the person calling was like, he's killing us.
But they didn't show up for that dispute. So, like, someone called for some sort of dispute, but the cops didn't come when the call happened. But then later, they did show up, and the murders had happened.
Something
like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So, like, that's just weird that there was, like, a call, like, to the cops, but it wasn't.
They called for he was getting violent.
He was getting violent, so they called the cops, and then, like, by the time the cops got there, okay,
then he had killed them.
Okay.
So.
It's a weird detail I just got tripped up on, but
yeah, I feel like I just said that like 4 times.
because the way you initially said it just made it sound like someone had called the cops like hours before the murders, and the cops like weren't responding until later or something. But okay, all right, okay. I misheard you.
I don't know the exact time. Okay, so the 8-year-olds. This is what she told police. She had been in her bedroom when she could hear her mother crying. Mark was yelling, and then she could hear her baby sister crying. And this was going on for a while. And then she said that the house fell quiet. And after some quiet, she said she heard dripping in the hallway. Which we can only imagine as the man in the wheelchair. That's what
blood
I guess.
Dripping.
Yeah.
Or his colostomy bag dripping. His catheter bag dripping pee onto the ground. She's used to that, I'm sure.
Wow. Can't joke about this, Rocky.
I'm sorry. First of all, it's too late. I already have, and I'm sorry about it.
Okay. So then Mark enters her room with a bloody axe. He grabs her hair and holds her against a wall. Then he starts strangling her. Then they both hear a noise that made Mark stop, and that let her catch her breath. And then the police entered the room, and that's when he got shot. So it happened, like, pretty quick.
So, that's where I got tripped up with the phone call, is because, like, what is the series of events here? He killed everybody, and then went for Tracy, but she escaped. And then went for the girl? Went for the little girl?
I don't know what order it is. We won't know. I mean, I don't know. They
Okay.
don't know the order.
Okay.
Because they couldn't hear each other.
But that's what with the phone call earlier, so she called the cops, but the cops...
Oh no, Tracy called the cops when she got to the neighbors.
Totally.
But that's not the call I'm talking about that came from the house.
Right. So the cops didn't respond to the earlier call that came from the house.
They were on their way. What do you mean didn't respond? They showed up.
To the call that came from the house?
Yeah.
And then, so...
They got another call
They got
from
another
Tracy,
call from her.
But they were already there or on their way.
Crazy. Okay. So they got 2 calls.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, okay, I guess we'll hurry. We'll go faster.
Put the lights on, Bob. Okay, so... when I was researching this, I was feeling, like, really bad for the girl and, like, how she almost died from strangulation. And so I kind of wanted to look into strangulation a little bit more. And I was being a creep. And on Google, I was typing in, how long does it take for you to get strangled to death?
You gotta be careful when you're looking at
I'm on
that
a list
kind of
now.
stuff.
So,
yeah.
No big deal.
Well, I mean, you know, you gotta be careful for, like, yeah, people are gonna think you're a psychopath trying to strangle people, but they're also... The internet's gonna think now that
people already think that about me.
yeah, you're with your big, strong, freaking strangle hands.
My big yoga hands.
Yeah, there's also like
I got tiny hands actually.
You do have. I have very small hands too. I have like big like palms, but teeny fingers. So
I got tiny
overall,
little fingers.
Yeah, and it happens.
Carny hands, you know.
It happens. Some people have great hands.
I wish I had great hands.
Not us.
We have hand envy.
Mm-hmm.
No big deal.
We'll get through it.
Okay. So real quick, fun things here. It takes 1 to 2 minutes of continued strangulation as air in the lungs deoxygenates for unconsciousness. It takes 5 minutes for permanent brain damage, and if you were to be strangled for 10 minutes and then somehow like resuscitated, then you would be brain dead for sure. So, if airway is completely cut off, unconsciousness can occur in seconds if it's done right. And this means, like, if you're strangling someone who's not fighting back and you know exactly where to go. And so, like, most people that are strangling, I would think, even if you're strangling an 8-year-old,
you ever
she's gonna be like fighting
back.
and it's gonna take
like a freaking like coma patient.
Dude.
Like,
and so like with movies, you know, they kill them in like seconds. It seems.
No, it takes
and
so
that
much
is
longer.
So false.
Yeah, it's like it takes a minute. It takes a minute for people to like pass out, but then past the point of passing out, they're only passed out. They're not dead. It takes.
You have to keep strangling them even after they're passed out to make sure that they're dead.
Yeah, and you have to cut up. You have to like cut either the airway to their brain or the blood flow to their brain, or both, preferably, I imagine. But yeah,
blood, I think.
Yeah, and that's why like UFC fighters like, when they choke people out, they choke them out in a very specific way that doesn't like they're not trying to choke.
They're not trying to kill him.
They're not trying to kill them. They're not trying to like cut their airway. They're trying, and it takes it. You pass out a lot faster from like blood flow, and you can come back a lot faster too. But, yeah.
Yeah.
So he was choking this little frickin' girl.
And another fun little thing here: someone with strong neck muscles can protect themselves by tensing their neck. So work out your neck.
I'm tensing my neck right now. You can't tell because it's thick, but. Dude, I don't think it would take... I got a really thick neck. I got a thick neck.
Nice.
You have a thin neck. I mean, yeah, you'd be pretty dang easy.
I can go like this. Yeah. There's space.
There's space.
I can put
her whole
my
hands around her neck.
Well,
You got
Wait,
like a freaking like a little foot, like long neck. You're a long neck.
I love Littlefoot.
Is Littlefoot a boy or a girl?
It's a boy.
Okay.
Or wait. Whoa. I actually...
Boom. Who knows?
I actually have no idea.
Who cares?
I feel like I always thought it was a boy and someone told me it was a girl and then I was like, what? And then, but no, I don't know.
You doubled down on the boy thing.
I don't,
okay.
I don't care.
Well, that's good to know that you can just flex out.
Yeah. So work out those neck muscles, y'all.
When I was a kid, when we were kids, me and my friends, they did it more than me. We used to like, we used to like choke ourselves out and like choke each other out to like get the euphoria from like the air deprivation.
That is so weird.
It was pretty weird, but yeah, it kind of like takes a minute.
My friends and I played with dolls. So.
What kind of dolls?
The fun ones.
I played with dolls too, but it was the different kinds.
They were action figures.
Yeah, action figures. Okay, so there's one thing that you forgot to mention that you mentioned last time.
Oh, I'm not done yet. Wait, what?
I don't think you're going to mention this, though.
What?
Keep going. I'll mention it if you forget it.
Great.
Or if you don't mention it.
Great. Does it have to do with strangulation?
No.
Okay. So, now it's just... So, like, basically, yeah, Mark died.
Yeah.
They
shot up.
In his system, he had meth, marijuana, and alcohol. Police interviewed friends and acquaintances of Mark and said that in the weeks leading up, he had his behavior was way more erratic, and they believed that he was on drugs. And his mom even had said that he had been using meth earlier. So, meth, don't do it. Don't kill your family on meth.
Yeah, meth don't help, but he was already a fucking psychopath.
He was already a weirdo. He was fascinated by weapons, I already said that, and he believed that the government was out to get him.
Of course, so yeah, he is like a fucking like militant, like gun nut.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
Yeah. So on the day of the shooting, he had started a new job up in Salem, and he cleaned and detailed cars. So on his way home from his new job, he brings home some pizzas.
Wow.
And he brings home pizzas. He said that like everything was fine for a while, and then I guess something happened between him and Shayna where they got in an argument.
Where do you think he went for pizzas? Where do you think he got the pizza from? Do you think he just went to
it could have been
Little Caesars,
or it could have been like some frozen pizzas.
Frozen. Maybe he went to like Papa Murphy's and like got the like the take and bake ones. Maybe that's why he was when the cops walked in, he was like, they lied to me. He was like, they said
pepperoni.
They said it was freaking all meats. This was a meat explosion, meat lovers trio. They lied to me, and that's why he rampaged. Because he got home and he found out like this ain't even hot and fresh.
We will never know, because he died. Oh, and so when police got there, pizza was still in the oven.
Okay.
Sad.
Damn. So it all happened very quickly.
Or maybe it escalated very quickly. Is my belief.
Maybe they took a minute to get the food into the
Well,
oven.
it said pizzas, so they could have like taken a pizza out and then had another one going. And the pizza was probably burnt.
Yeah.
To crap. It was a blackened.
I don't know
huzzah.
If I were there or if I were a cop. I don't know if I'd be able to like resist taking a slice if there was just like a pizza just sitting there.
Probably burnt.
Yeah, but if there was one if there was a perfectly cooked one still warm. Just sitting there.
Yeah, but like
it's all gonna go to waste.
There's dead bodies everywhere.
It's all gonna go to waste.
You think you would
if I saw the pizza first before the bodies, I'd grab the pizza, eat it with my gun, walk through the house with my gut kind of stretched out, and just be like, "What's going on in here? Is anyone home? No? Okay. I guess I'll take this pizza.
Smells like pizza in here.
Yeah, I guess I'll just take this pizza. Okay. So is that it?
Yeah.
Fuck. Crazy.
What did I miss?
It was the pizza part, but you got to it.
Yeah, pizza part.
Pizza part.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so don't do meth, guys. Just
don't do meth.
Don't.
Buy quality pizza. Don't fucking collect.
Love your parents that are letting you live in their house.
Buy a gun. Don't collect them. Crazy story. Well, I feel like mine's better.
Well, yours is famous.
Yeah, mine's famous.
No one knew about mine.
Dude, yours is crazy because it's like that dude just slaughtered his family.
All of a sudden.
And it just happened. Crazy motherfucker.
That's why I picked it.
Freaking.
Because seriously, this one that you're about to do, that was like one of two that I was originally gonna do.
Well, of course. It's very famous.
It's a good one.
And it's like, I felt like one of us had to do this one. Okay, so this one that I chose is about the I-5 killer, Randall Brent Woodfield. Randy Brent Woodfield. Randall. Okay, so Randy is famous for basically terrorizing the strip of interstate that stretched from Washington to California. Most of his crimes being committed in Oregon and actually a few in Eugene.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah.
Creepy.
Yeah. Woodfield robbed, molested, raped, and murdered his way up and down the I-5 corridor for months in 1980 and 81.
Murdered his way up. I always, when you say that, I think like, oh, working his way up the job, like murdered his way up the serial killer job. He was just driving up and down the I-5, just fucking rampaging. Gross.
Some people think that he murdered up to 44 people.
Yeesh.
And this is like a few months span, so he's like just fucking. He was crushing it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really, the scariest part is that he was like a fucking jock. He was like a very good looking, very like athletic jock. And like probably very good at fucking killing people.
He was fast. He could chase you if you tried to run away.
Yeah.
You don't stand a chance, girl.
Well, the scariest part is that he was like no one did run away because he's like good looking, and like probably charming to a degree. Anyways,
can't trust every hot guy, you guys.
Or like any of them, or any guy, or anybody, or any person.
Okay.
So Randy Babandy, was raised in Newport, Oregon. So that's on the coast. A very small town on the coast. It's a little bit north of where you grew up, right?
It sure is.
Yeah.
I'm a coastie.
Coastie. That's funny. In Alaska, we call coasties the Coast Guard, and we don't like them.
You don't like the Coast Guard?
It's funny. It's really funny because we need them and they're very important. But the reason we don't like them is because they're like a bunch of guys from like fucking, I don't know, like Missouri and Arizona who come to Alaska to be like in the Coast Guard, or like, go to a coast to be in the Coast Guard to like join like the lowest fucking rung of the military that you can. And then they just proceed to like get really like drunk and like bang all the local chicks and like get them high on cocaine and like shit like that. That's,
bringing the party.
Yeah, there's a very, like, in my hometown, there's, like,
freaking coasties.
Yeah. We don't like them. But,
Missouri.
Some of them are aight. Missouri.
Missouri.
Okay. So, yeah, homeboy was, he was born in Salem, but he was raised in Newport. He was one of 3 children, raised in an upper middle class family. So, he was, like...
One of 3, you say?
One of 3. He was the middle of 2 girls.
Well, that's why he's the serial killer.
Mm-hmm. That's why he's fucking crazy. All those domineering women running around the house. That'll drive any guy insane. No, yeah, so he grew up in a very fucking normal household. There's no, like, story of, like, sad oppression or trauma or anything like that. No
abusive dad?
No. His dad worked at Northwest Pacific Bell Phone Company. He was an executive there. So he made, like, a lot of money, and the mom was, like, a stay-at-home wife, and so it was all fucking chills bills. Nobody knows what happens behind closed doors and shit, but I can almost guarantee none of it was, like, to this degree, because the frickin' his sisters, one of them went on to be a doctor, the other one a lawyer. Right. And he fucking, his claim to fame would have been sports. He was
Wasn't he in some team?
yeah. So he was a rising star in the small community for his achievements on the football field. He also played
Football boy.
He played other sports as well. He was just like athletically, like one of those athletically gifted kids. But
We all know them.
We all know one or two.
Mm-hmm.
Those fucking people.
Those guys.
Yeah, and they're also like nice too.
Yeah, super nice.
Some of them are nice.
Usually pretty
like,
smart.
Smart, and it's like
Girls like them.
You like them so much that you can't really justify your jealousy of them.
It's in there though.
Yeah, I'm that guy for a lot of people.
Yeah.
He was kind of that guy. He seemed like that guy, but he was mostly just good at sports, and then like probably really like awkward to have a conversation with, because people thought he was like very fake and phony, and kind of tried hard.
Probably didn't have any like true like opinions or so, like you know, he was probably just trying to like make people like him.
Yeah.
So people can pick up on that.
Right. He was also very narcissistic and vain, and that all like that probably a lot of it came from like he got a lot of notoriety from football. Just in high school, and then all the while he was like playing all these football games. He was like flashing his penis to people. He was
a weirdo.
Yeah, he's like getting in trouble for like going around town in high school. Like, just, like, exposing himself to...
Just, like, in school?
Probably in school.
Like
probably outside of school. Probably in school. Probably just, like...
Oh, my God.
There probably weren't too many instances, but it happened enough for, like, the cops probably to know about it. In fact, the cops definitely did know about it.
Oh, Randy.
Yeah, so he went to college in Portland. Portland State.
Represent.
Represizzy. Not that we went there and shit like that.
I don't even go to Portland, really.
Yeah. So he was a wide receiver, and he also joined a student organization called the Crusaders for Christ. So
he was a fake Christian.
So he was a fake Christian, a football player, and he's like a wide receiver. So like that's like one of the like kind of like flashy football positions. It's like one of the ones. So the wide receiver is like one of the people. He receives the ball from the quarterback. So Andrea, who doesn't know shit about football, I'm sure. I don't know shit about football either, but I know this. It's like one of the people who like people. When people follow football, it's like my favorite quarterback or my favorite wide receiver.
I know
or whatever.
Quarterback. I've heard wide receiver.
Yeah, it's the guy who makes.
It makes sense. They receive.
They make the score.
Right.
Typically.
Oh, they run with the ball.
They run with the ball. They typically make the
score. Totally.
Yeah. He's fucking.
People love him.
Yeah, so he's like this like.
Except for when he shows his thing.
Yeah. Again, so he's like doing the fucking Crusaders for Christ thing, fucking. Wide receiver on the field, everyone knows him, fucking cool guy, Randy. But he's still showing his dick to people. And it's like the fucking 70s, so people are probably just like...
It probably happens a lot.
Yeah, probably. It's very like, Animal House, fucking Porky's, just like, oh, you put your dick in the hole in the wall, we're just gonna... Woo! We're young. My dad's done worse to me.
Oh, man.
So, other than being like, narcissistic and, very egotistical, he was like, mostly like people knew him as being kind of odd. So he did like show like some signs of just like, he fulfilled like the normal like rung of everything, everything you represented, just like college kid, football star, blah blah blah. But like I feel like as soon as you just scratch past the like thin veneer, you're just like there's like nothing to this person.
Mm-hmm.
which, you know,
Yeah.
people probably didn't
fake.
people probably didn't feel like that was that odd, you know, because he wasn't like violent. He just showed his dick to people. So he kept playing fucking football for Portland State.
Frisky.
Yeah. Some of us, you know, I've never oh god, that's the worst thing is someone seeing my penis. I don't ever want someone to see my penis out of context. I've seen a penis out of context, and it's
not fun.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, it's stuck with me to this day. It's not fun. And like, I never want to people who like expose themselves. It's got to be like, holy shit, the
They're
confidence.
Like on a
it's like
level.
say what you will, but the confidence, you know.
Yeah. Seriously.
It's funny because he ended up later posing for. He took like glamour shots of himself all oiled up, and he like sent them to just like random addresses. Randy did.
Yeah.
Yeah, the person we're talking about, not me. Yeah, I didn't do this.
Oh yeah, for Playboy.
Yeah, he sent them for Playgirl.
Playgirl.
Yeah.
Not Playboy.
Yeah. Okay, so
that's nice.
He kept playing for
Get
Portland.
Buffalo Bill vibes from that.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
Dude, I just listened to that Cute Lazarus song earlier today.
I don't know it.
Yes, you do. Boo-doo.
Oh yeah.
Boo-doo,
Yeah, I
do. Boo-doo.
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
It's a pretty good song. I was talking with my
one.
coworker about how like it sucks for Q Lazarus that like the song or the
that
movie
thinks about.
Yeah, the movie that catapulted that song into fame also ruined it because everyone associates it with fucking Buffalo Bill squeezing his dick between his legs.
He rocked it though.
He did. Would you fuck me? I'd fuck me.
So
sick. So, alright. Motherfucker got drafted in 1974 NFL draft by the Green Bay Packers. Packers! Green Bay, Florida?
You are asking the wrong person.
I'm not sure. I think I feel stupid for not looking that up. I'm pretty sure Green Bay Packers are Florida. Anyways.
Go for it. I'll look it up.
So, although his involvement with the team on a professional level didn't last very long because he didn't have any fucking control, he was still showing his penis to people. Mm-hmm. Like, he's drafted for the NFL. He wasn't playing yet, but he fucking just like, you know, he'd probably gotten like a few slaps on the wrist, but he's just like, dude, I'm like at the height right now. Like, I'm definitely gonna be showing my penis off now. Like,
big man on campus.
Yeah, he just has no fucking self-control.
Gross.
So yeah, he was drafted, but they basically kicked him off pretty soon after for like showing his penis to people. And that was basically
That's good. I'm glad that they did that, you know?
Yeah, well,
honestly
me too.
Kind of surprised.
Me too, but I think it's because he'd been doing it for like ever, and like they like found.
It probably gives them a bad name.
Yeah, and well, also he was picked because he was like, you know, like a good pick, but he wasn't like amazing. You know what I'm saying? Like he was like at the fucking end, the bottom of the ladder, but he was still picked because he's still good, you know. And you know, they probably would have used him at some point, but he wasn't like, they didn't like pick him because they knew he was going to be like a huge star. So I think it's pretty easy to be like, all right, like he's like good, but he's not that good. We're not too worried about keeping him on the team. Yeah. Get that guy off there. Get him off there. So that was basically the fucking catalyst for good old Babandy.
He got pissed.
Yeah, after being cut from the team, Randy was severely upset. He basically like missed his opportunity, like to like realize his dream. And,
that was his career.
Yeah, and he's got nothing else.
His sisters are off being successful.
Yeah, and he's got nothing. He's got no other skills or anything.
Yeah.
He's just a fucking like a clam. As far as everything else goes, other than like sports, well, and apparently killing. So he just started working like low level fucking jobs for like for a little bit, and then basically a year later, it didn't take very long for his like failure to manifest itself into just like hatred and eventually action. So, yeah, in 1975, reports came into Portland police about a man wielding a knife and sexually accosting women. Just, like, in parks and on the streets and shit. Just jumping out of bushes with a knife.
Ugh.
And then forcing them to commit oral sex on him. And stealing their bags. So just, like, taking a knife and being like, suck me off! And then, like, taking their bags.
I'd just be like, you know what? Just stab me.
Oh, God. Ugh. So gross. It's like...
Because, what if you do that and then he stabs you anyway?
Yeah.
Like...
And the last thing you did was, probably give, like, not the best head you've ever given in your life, because it's, like, you're pretty scared and traumatized.
Wow.
I mean, if you're gonna die, you might as well, like, want to, like, I don't know. Who knows what's going through your mind at that point. So,
definitely not that.
Probably not. You know? Different people, different strokes for different folks here, you know? Not
those women.
Yeah, they were probably just, like, pretty goddamn frightened.
Yes.
And just, like, he probably just, like, got off from the power of it.
Oh, yeah,
And
definitely.
was just, like, obsessed with, like, that kind of, like, later, that theme goes on about him just, like, being obsessed with oral sex. So, yeah, he'd steal their handbags after that. Like, the goddamn piece of shit would then rob them after fucking, like, threatening to kill them.
Maybe for, like, trophies or something.
Well, he just, for the money.
The money.
Yeah, he just fucking sucked at work. He didn't want to work.
Yeah.
And, so...
Rude.
Yeah.
So rude.
Pretty much.
All of it.
So the police, they ended up using, like, decoy money. They'd use, like, female police officers as, like, decoys, and they'd use this, like, marked money, and then that's how they caught him. He'd, like, steal the money from these women and then go spend it, and they'd find it.
Crazy.
And, yeah, pretty crazy. And then, so, for all this shit, he got sentenced only 10 years. Of which he only served 4.
And that was for how many people? Do we know? That he
I don't know.
Tried to attack? Okay.
No, I don't, yeah.
A handful?
Yeah, a handful.
Okay.
Never kill anybody. Just rob
Not
them.
yet.
And yeah. So after being released from prison in 1979...
So he was in there for 10 years?
No.
Oh.
No. So it was 1975 when all this shit, like, probably when he went in.
Oh.
Yeah. And
4 years?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And then, so he got out and he just, like, fucking, you know, was shamed even harder, you know?
Yeah.
And then he just, like, fucking pretty much probably, like, went, like, right back to doing, like, robberies and sex crimes, like, immediately after getting out of prison. There was, like, not much, like, fucking, like, cool down time there. Because in 1980, he was arrested and questioned for the brutal rape and murder of Sherry Ayers, a Portland resident who had been a friend and former schoolmate of his. So he'd known this person since 2nd grade, his entire life. And while he was in prison, they had a correspondence through letters and mail. So, like, you know, he probably reached out to her, or she him, and it was just like, I don't know. As soon as he got out of prison, it was probably like...
I hate him.
Yeah, he's a piece of shit.
God.
It was probably, like, a real, like, convenient, easy, like, connection for him to be like...
Yeah, he's probably like, hey, I'm out of prison, let's hang out. And she's like, cool. And then... Oh.
Yeah. So, yeah, although he was questioned, apparently his blood didn't match with blood found at the crime scene. And there's, like, there's some weird details about that, where it's like there was blood found in the semen, and but, like, they couldn't get a, like, good enough, like, sample or something like that
of the blood
in the semen. And
it wasn't her blood.
No,
it was
someone else's.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, and it was his. It was his, but, you know, they couldn't prove that at the time. The Caps.
Oh, wonder if they could now.
Because this is 1980.
Because they're retesting all that stuff from the 80s.
Oh, yeah, well, he gets fucking charged with, like, yeah.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, okay, so.
But still.
So he gets away with that, the piece of shit.
Wow.
And then basically a month later, in Portland, Darcy Fix and Douglas Alteague were bound and shot to death in Fix's home. Fix had just been an acquaintance of Woodfield's. So I think he did kind of like keep some like random odd jobs here and there because he knew her because he was a bouncer at a club in Portland. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Oh no, wait, sorry. I confused that with someone else. That's another person. I'm sorry. So Darcy Fix, he knew her from. She was just like an ex of one of his college friends. So he's just like kind of like reaching out for like any kind of like loose connection because he doesn't have any connections with anybody.
Yeah.
And he's just like reaching out for like small little, and so he just like goes to this fucking woman's house, wants to kill her because he knows who she is, and then there's this man there, so he kills him too.
Does it say how he killed them?
I'm sure he just shot them. That's his MO.
Okay.
Yeah, he always just shoots people. Unlike fucking Gago or.
No, he doesn't swing an axe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he just shoots people. Well, after he sexually assaults them. I'm sure that's what he did to Darcy Fix.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
And again, he was questioned and not charged. So that's 2 in a row that he was questioned and not charged. And so I'm pretty sure this is the point where he like kind of feels like confident. Invincible, yeah. He's just like, all right. Well, it's also I think these 2 things he was like, these 2 murders, 3 murders. Oh wow. Well, that's nice. Someone's cooking.
Someone's cooking
I'll
in the kitchen. I'll probably edit some of this out.
Cool. Let's just wait. You want to just wait?
Yeah. Okay. Oh. There it is.
Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, I think he was like planning on like doing these murders and then like getting arrested and going to jail and being in jail for the rest of his life. Because like he was, so ashamed, so depressed, and probably didn't see much point to his life. And so he's like, I'm just going to do these and it'll be like one last hurrah or whatever. And then he fucking didn't get charged and he got away with both of them scot-free? I think it's scot-free.
Who's Scott?
I don't know where
Does he drink scotch?
Scotch-free. Scotch tape-free. There's no tape on this guy. Wow. Yeah. So after that, I think he's like, fuck, I'm like invincible, and like I'm just gonna fucking like double down like on the whole, just like I'm just gonna fucking do whatever I want and like demand sex at fucking gunpoint from women, and then deal with being killed by the cops or arrested or whatever. He just didn't care. And so after those 3 murders, Woodfield began his brutal crime spree spanning the I-5. On December 5th, 1980, he held up a gas station at gunpoint in Vancouver, Washington, while wearing a fake beard. On the 13th, so yeah, this is like the beginning of like his like hard rampage.
Going up and down
on the rampage. Okay, so he starts in Vancouver, Washington on the 5th, and then on the 13th, he held up an ice cream parlor in Eugene, where we live.
Prince Pucks?
Probably Prince Pucklers, because...
could have been Baskin Robbins.
It could have been Baskin Robbins. It might have been. But it didn't say anywhere. So on the 14th, a day after, he robbed a drive-in restaurant in Albany, so that's like 30 minutes up the road from Eugene. On the 21st, he held a woman at knife point in Seattle, Washington, and made her suck him off, like commit fellatio, like he does with all of them. That's like a common theme you'll see. It's basically what it's
his favorite.
It's what he doesn't always do it, but he almost always does. In January 1981, authorities in Oregon dubbed him the I-5 Bandit. On January 8th, he robbed the same Vancouver gas station.
Damn.
Yeah, and...
Wow, yeah, he's getting confident.
Yeah, he's just on a rampage. 3 days later, he came back to Eugene, robbed another market in Eugene. The next day, he shot a woman during a robbery in Sutherland, Oregon.
Oh my god.
And on January 14th, he invaded a home of an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old and sexually assaulted them.
No, I hate that one.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so he's just fucking like a fucking monster just lurking around.
And he goes from like normal creepo to then like pedophile creepo.
Yeah, just like, doesn't give a fuck.
Wow.
And like, probably was just trying it. And he's just like, oh, I just fucking did something in Seattle.
Whoops, I'm here now, so.
Yeah, I'm gonna get gas in Salem.
Ugh.
Oh shit, well there's a house, doesn't look like anyone's home. I'm just gonna go, do whatever I want in there.
Creeps me out.
It's insane because he's just like, honestly, like, very, like, physically powerful. So it's like...
No.
Yeah, it's very scary. So, on January 18th, he went into an office building while it was being cleaned. So it was, like, after hours. And the two women who were cleaning the office were Sherry Hull and Beth Wilmot. So,
and this is all, like, within a month-ish?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, well, like, basically,
month or two?
Yeah, like two,
all these
kind of like
ones.
2 months, yeah.
Okay.
And,
That's crazy.
And yeah, so, like,
Sherry and
Beth, Sherry Hull and Beth Wilmot. I'm pretty sure this was in Salem.
Mm-hmm.
So he basically, like, I'm sure he probably just, like, I don't know, like, he must have just been, like, just fucking walking around, driving around. He drove a fucking, a beetle, a tan beetle, yeah. And this is also, like, around the same time that Bundy was, like, fucking around Washington, also driving a beetle. So, yeah, a lot of fucking
creepos.
Fucks in the 80s,
that's
late 70s, yeah. So, yeah, he must have just seen them in there cleaning, so he just, like, walks in, and, just take the batteries out, damn it. Okay. So, yeah, he probably just, like, saw them cleaning, and then he just, like, walks in, and, because the door's unlocked, and he, he's wearing, like, a fake beard, and he's got, like, sunglasses and, like, a leather jacket, and he's, like, a good-looking guy, and they're just like, what the fuck? You're like, hi, hello, sir, like, it's closed, and he has a gun, and, he takes them into a back room at gunpoint, and he sexually assaults them, and then, shoots them both in the back of the head. So he shoots Hull first, killing her, but Beth Wilmot, she lived, apparently. The small, I'm pretty sure he carried like a 22 revolver, which is a very, very small, bullet. So.
And he shot the one girl twice, but her once. That's why she survived?
I think he shot them both twice.
Oh, what?
Yeah, but
Damn.
The bullets did not penetrate her skull.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so she lived and fucking went obviously called the police instantly, and she ended up later being instrumental in his conviction. Another fucking crazy little like, not necessarily truth, but a little interesting part of this case is so he leaves, she calls the cops, like, instantly, and then, so the cops are coming, and, one of the police that was on their way said that, like, a few blocks away they saw a man that fit perfectly the description. of, the person who killed Sherry Hull and tried to kill Beth Wilmot. And he's on the way to the scene, and he thinks to himself, like, there's no way that can be him, it's too far away. But that fits the description perfectly. Like, if it was closer, then I, would have, like, fucking arrested him. But what people think is that he was such an extraordinary athlete that he just fucking, like sprinted from the fucking scene, and then just, like, and apparently that's what they think he did a lot to avoid capture.
Away quickly.
And he would just, like...
Yeah, he probably, like, parked far away, too.
Parked far away and would just, like, sprint to his fucking car, and, like, he just fucking runs super fast for a long time, so...
It's terrifying.
You just lose him, and he just fucking...
Gross.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
That's,
I don't like it.
That's why you could just, like, jump around and, like, fuck on people
Jump around.
Hard. Jump around, get up, and get down. So after he committed, after this, he committed more robberies in Medford, Eugene, and Grants Pass. So those are all just, like, within, like, a couple hours of each other on the I-5. Yeah. So he's just driving up and down the highway, going from one place to the other, doing whatever the fuck he wants.
Killing people, raping people.
Yeah.
Stabbing people, shooting people.
He almost always forced his victims, who were usually petite young women, to expose themselves to him or give him oral sex, usually both. His disguise usually consisted of a baseball cap, fake beard, and, like, a small piece of athletic tape or a Band-Aid on the bridge of his nose. And
like Nelly.
Like Nelly. Country grammar. And, like, people think that was just, like, a good way to, like a good, what's it called? A disguise, because it was just, like, a focal point, just, like, a piece of athletic tape on his nose. But, it ended up, like...
It doesn't seem smart to me.
No. It ended up being, like, a thing that gets him caught.
Yeah, I would say so.
Wahaha. So, motherfucker is literally just, like, starts in, like, he starts his rampage in December, goes through January, and then now it's February 3rd, 81. He's still fucking people, like, obviously, like, up and down the I-5, people are probably, it's on the news, people are probably fucking terrified, just, like... Imagine being, like, you at that time, just like, well, I'm not fucking going out ever, or, like, I'm fucking getting a weapon or something, yeah.
There's no way.
I probably fucking wouldn't, because, he's just, like, they have no fucking idea.
Too.
Yeah, and he's just, like...
Yeah, no thanks, dude.
He's got, like, a disguise, and he's just going, like, from town to town. People probably don't know if it's, like, just him, or... So, anyways, February 3rd, 81, the bodies of Donna Eckerd and her 14-year-old daughter were found...
I hate this one, too.
...in Mountain Gate, California. So that's just north of Redding. So...
in their bed, right?
Yeah, found in bed.
Aww.
Each had been shot several times in the head. And...
It's terrible.
Yeah. He also, obviously, raped them. Obviously, and forensic tests showed that he had also sodomized.
No.
Yeah, and
I hate him.
Yeah,
this is freaking bumming me out.
It's fucked up. It's sad. It's really sad. Because
so hard to hear.
It's like he probably messed around a little bit with necrophilia at some point, but like. Most of this was probably while they were alive.
Oh my god.
So the same day, that same fucking day, he raped and killed a fucking woman and her daughter, her 14-year-old daughter. He holds up and a store clerk. He holds up a store and fucking does this, rapes and sodomizes a store clerk. Just like, yeah, he's on a fucking rampage. A lot of serial killers will have like the like the thrill killers or like the rampage killers or whatever. They'll have like a heat up and like cool down period, like they'll ramp up their crimes up to like a certain point, and then they'll kind of like they'll still do crimes, but they'll like kind of like peter back down a little bit.
Yeah.
But he only fucking like went exponentially, like got exponentially worse with his crimes.
He's like the serial killer adrenaline junkie.
Yes, and he's just like, I mean, it's like fucking probably years of just pent up fucking psychotic frustration. So. Yeah, that happens in Redding, so he's still in California, and then basically an identical crime was reported in Eureka on February 4th, so the next day.
Mm-hmm.
So he's just like repeating the same crime, and he's in California, he's working his way back up. So, yeah, he robs a motel in Ashland. 5 days later, someone matching his description is reported in Corvallis, and he like holds up a fabric store and molests the clerk. So he's just going into fucking like just wherever he thinks women are gonna be, and then just like taking out a gun and just being like, "Show me your tits." Yeah,
I hate him.
It's insane. Like, it's like I can imagine, like, a fucking piece of shit degenerate doing this, like, once or twice. Mm-hmm. But this is, like, his fucking thing, and he's doing it, like, multiple times in a day.
Some of these women, like, had, like,
I don't know how he didn't get caught.
It,
yeah, right?
You know, and, like, had a gun or something.
I don't know how he didn't get caught, or, I don't know. It's just crazy.
Wonder if this was, like, being reported at the time, and, like, you know, because, like, I know serial killers... In the 70s, that's when the term was named, serial killer.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so I just wonder if they even knew it was the same person doing all of this.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Because it's so far spread. So, like, so between February 3rd and the 12th, he goes from the Northern California, and then he goes to Ashland, Corvallis, Oregon, and then on the 12th, commits robberies in Vancouver, Washington, Olympia, and Bellevue. And, you know, sexually assaulting people, and he's not, you know, there's only a few, like, key murders that, like, he's credited with that are, like, you know, kind of the big ones, but it's mostly just, like, all these fucking reports just up and down of just this madman. And, like you just said, they don't know if it's fucking the same guy, if it's just, like, they're just like, what the fuck is going on? There's just, like, a crime spree. So, on February 15th, in Beaverton, he went to the home of 18-year-old Julie Wrights. This was the girl he knows from the club. And that's why I was like, that's weird. She was 18. Apparently she was hanging out at this club. But with Julie, he kind of had like a date with her. The police found or at the scene that they had found that they had wine and coffee was being prepared. So like they drank in a little bit, and then maybe we're trying to like sober up or something. Maybe she's trying to like sober him up because he was being fucking weird or something. And then he probably just fucking
molested her.
Snapped. No, he killed her. He raped and killed her.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
That's worse.
Yes. It's hard to read all these because it's so fucking many, and it's the same thing over and over again. And,
you don't have to read them all.
Well,
it's kind of a bummer.
Yeah, these are, this is just, I guess, just a fucking index of all of his fucking crazy crimes. He just like spent most of his life just like trying to achieve the dream of like being a football player. That didn't work because he deep down was a fucking sexual like fucking freak, like just loved exposing himself to people, and then now he's just fucking off the deep end and just on a rampage.
How does he get caught?
So, February 28th, they started kind of, the investigation kind of started focusing more on Woodfield himself.
About time.
So he struck 3 more times in Eugene on February 18th and the 21st, and Corvallis on the 25th, all in February. So detectives assembled a call log showing Woodfield had placed calls with calling cards and payphones near the murder sites around the times they were committed. So basically that, coupled with Beth Wilmot picking him up in a lineup, picking him out in a lineup, they basically knew they had enough for a warrant.
Nice.
And I'm guessing.
Go Beth.
I'm guessing people probably just they probably eventually found out it was just one guy, and then they were just like, okay, we're looking for a guy who's just fucking got no job, and he's robbing people all the time, so he's got money, he's got no job, he's got money, so and he just has nothing to do, he's just doing this with his time all day. So the fucking the cops searched his home in Springfield, or his fucking, I think it might have just been like a hotel room or like a shitty apartment. And they found a bullet. They found a bullet casing that matched the bullets found at the crime scenes, and they were very specific. They were like, so I said 22 earlier, 22 revolver. I was wrong. It's 32. It's actually 32, and he I probably kept casings as a fucking either a trophy or just to I don't know.
Probably a trophy.
Yeah. I don't know why he'd have fucking just casings. He's a weirdo. But so they found that, and he buy these very specific bullets that were they weren't bullets that people would usually buy. Mm-hmm. They weren't rare, but they were ones that people just don't really buy that often. And the tape, there was tape found in his home that
Nelly
matched.
Tape.
Huh?
The Nelly tape.
No.
Oh.
It was tape that matched tape found on victims that he would tie up and molest or try to kidnap.
Yeah, gross.
Yes. The Nelly tape. Yeah.
The Band-Aids.
Yeah. So he was connected to all the robbery and sex crimes, as well as the murder of Sherry Hole, and he was sentenced, just for those, to life plus 90 years. And then while in jail, shit just kept fucking piling on. And then,
good.
Yeah, in the 80s, there was a book written about him by a woman named Anne Rule. The Anne Rule book, called The I-5 Killer. And that kind of that, he was pretty famous, but that kind of shot him in, because it was a bestseller, and that kind of shot him into notoriety. And then I think that's probably a little bit helped in spurring people to be, report stuff that had happened, and that's why people think he's probably responsible for way more fucking crimes and murders than he was actually charged with. But
totally.
They started charging him with so many crimes that they eventually just stopped because it was pointless.
Yeah.
Because he was already going to be in jail for
he was
forever.
in for 2,000 years at that point.
Yeah. And yeah, so that's Randy Woodfield with fucking I-5 Bandit.
Randy sucks.
Yeah.
And he's still alive.
Yeah. He's still alive. He's still in jail. And he's fucking crazy piece of shit.
Gross. I hate him.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Okay.
I don't think anyone could do that now. In fact, I'm almost sure of it. No one could do what he did like that now.
No way.
But it's crazy that anyone ever did, especially in Oregon. You'd think there would just be some fucking good old boy with a fucking rifle in the back of his truck who just see him just I don't know.
Not in. Well, I don't know.
He's just. I think he's just fucking quick and
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was manipulative and
he's
just a little creep.
Yep. So That's it.
That's it.
Those are the Oregon murders. There's obviously like a lot of other fucking crazy murders.
We'll probably go over some other ones, honestly.
Yeah.
We have a lot of stuff we can talk about, so I'm excited.
Yeah.
This was a long episode.
Yeah. I'm not sure what we're gonna do for the next sode. But
I kind of want to do aliens.
Aliens?
I have an alien story.
That you experienced yourself?
Out at the farm, a couple times.
Which farm?
The one I live at.
The one you live at? Okay.
There's an alien out there.
No, there's not.
Yes, there is.
There's no alien out there.
I would love to talk about it.
Why would he be out there?
How am I supposed to know?
That's a good point.
But he visits me.
I think you're the alien.
I am an alien. Yes. That's why he visits me.
Yeah.
Or it. I don't know. It could be a woman. I mean, it's not a woman. Whatever.
All right. Well, that sounds pretty interesting to talk to it about. And for. Okay. Well, I guess thus concludes the second episode. Hopefully this one fucking like gets released and
it's gonna sound so much. I won't even go into it. It's going.
The last episode sound like garbage, and we basically just have to release this one. Hopefully people listen to it. Hopefully people listen to the first one.
They did. We got like 50 views.
50 views.
That's not bad.
Viewing the recording.
That's not bad.
That's people just looking at it and being like, oh, well, I saw it, and they didn't listen to it.
I don't think so. I think you have to listen to all of it for it to count.
I know.
On Soundy Cloud.
I know. All right. Well, thanks for listening. You guys, salutations. Ciao.
You can put your pitchforks down now.
Yeah. Holding them the whole time.
Yeah. Good for you.
Good for you.
Bye.
Bye.